Hi everyone and welcome. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about finding peace within yourself after losing someone you love, someone that has gone home to heaven. And that's very hard for each and every one of us, because finding that peace to be able to cope with losing a loved one can be very, very hard, because a lot of people in the world we shy away when we know someone has lost a loved one. We forget to ask them, how are they? How are they coping? Because we don't want to hurt them by bringing up their loved one. But have you ever thought about how important it is to bring up their loved one? Because when a person is grieving, they find it sometimes very hard to talk. They find it sometimes, they feel that all the people around them don't mention their loved one. And they feel, what would you say, I can't bring it up. I can't tell my friends or my family how I'm coping, because they will think I'm weak. But you're not. That's one thing. And accepting that your loved one has gone home to heaven is the biggest part of it. That they're gone in the flesh and blood, but they are there spiritually. They are not dead. And you can feel their presence at different times through your life. And that's one thing you must remember. Even the soul of a loved one, years later, you might say, 5 years later, I stopped grieving the way I was before. And then all of a sudden, something reminds you of them and makes you smile. And again, that's your loved one around you, helping you in your life. But the acceptance, I think that's the hardest part for each and every one of us when we lose a mom or a dad or a brother or sister or a child or a grandparent, or maybe even your best friend. To accept that they're no longer here in the flesh and blood, because that's the part we miss. We miss their smile. We miss hearing their voice. We miss, let's say, going for a walk with them, or going somewhere in the car. Or we miss, them calling over to us and saying hello. Or maybe again, we miss, out walking, and maybe your friend or your sister or your brother or your mum or your dad would have stopped to admire the bumblebees here at the flowers. You miss the everyday, ordinary things about your loved one. And accepting that is kind of the hardest thing, because you can't hug them anymore. It's not physical anymore. But I think we all need to understand, and help us to understand. I always ask God and the angels, help us to understand that the soul of our loved one has gone straight to heaven. And the most incredible thing is, God allows that soul any time it wants to be in and around you, to help you through the grief. And we should not dismiss, in a sense, our loved one who has passed. And I always believe that, in accepting that loss, that pain, that hurt, that's literally, for some of us, ripping our hearts out, shredding us, making us cry and burst into tears, make us, in a sense, feel down within ourselves. We have to, in a sense, accept that they're gone physically and let them go. but you'd never let them go, because I love this part. We always say we let go of our loved ones, let them go, but they're a spiritual being. They're that spark of light of God, their soul. And they can be in and around you at any time. And they love you dearly. And I know the soul of a loved one even helps to guide you, because your guardian angel has that soul of your loved one in and around you as well. So sometimes we can say, why did God allow this to happen? Why did God take our loved one back home to heaven? And sometimes we have to then look at the situation. We have to look at how our loved one was coping with life. Were they ill? Was there something really serious wrong with them? Were they in constant pain? And the thing is, it was their time to go home to heaven. And again, that acceptance of acknowledging that is even really, really hard. I know it is for me, accepting, Joe's death, accepting, my brother's death, accepting my mom and dad. I gave out to God. I gave out stink, in that way, for taking them home. I always said I would have loved my dad to have been here. I would have loved him to have, in a human way, to have seen the book Angels in My Hair. But he has seen it. Spiritually, my dad has the book Angels in My Hair in heaven with him. The same as your loved one has as well. They can see everything around you, and they're there to help you. And I would often say to people, one thing you can do is, write a letter. Maybe you want to write a letter talking about all the wonderful things you loved about them. And maybe that letter will take up a page or two. Maybe it'll even take up more, because you will talk about all the different things you did. And again, memories are so important to help you to accept. But then you can write another letter and you can give out to them, you can give out to them for leaving you. You can give out to them and tell them how hurt you are. And they will only love you more. They will be there for you more. Every single time you think of your loved one, whether it is a parent, your brother or sister, or a best friend or a child, they're right there with you at that very moment. And just think about that. They're right there. Because I have thought of my mom and dad and my brother and Joe. They're right here with me. I'm not standing here just talking to you. They're smiling at me. And I have to smile back. They're saying, well done. And I love that, because the soul of a loved one can give you courage and confidence. But the hardest part is to accept that they're gone in the flesh, but they're not really gone. And that's what you have to remember. You will see them one day when it's your time, but not before then. Always remember, not before then. So talk to your loved one and help yourself to heal. The grieving never ends. You will always miss them. You will always have memories. But the beginning part is the hardest. And accepting is the hardest. So I just want to say to you, every time you think of your loved one, they're right there with you at that moment. So talk to them, talk about them. The flesh is only gone. They walk right beside you. So love you and bless you, and I'll let you go. Love you, and love to all of the souls of the loved ones that have gone before you. And I'm telling them that you miss them. And I'm just being, what would you say, surrounded by millions of souls, all behind the camera, everywhere I glance. But remember, the soul of your loved one is right there with you. So love you and bless you. Bye-bye. God bless.